Welcome to the DoubleACS Daily News. There's another special election coming up within the City of Attleboro to fill a seat on the Municipal Council. The election is on June 6th. To learn more, we spoke with Mike Murphy of the Attleboro Election Commission.
I'm Mike Murphy, a member of the Attleboro Election Commission, and we're getting ready for our second special election of 2023. With the election of Mayor DeSimone, it left a vacant seat on the City Council, and Mayor DeSimone was a City Councilor at large. So we're filling that seat at a special election on June 6th. That's as usual on a Tuesday. And we have three candidates. We have Jonathan Tavares, Timothy Barone, and Lori Sawyer. And I think at least a couple of the candidates have had their signs pretty prominent around town. So I think everyone, knows about the fact that there is an election, but it's probably good to point out that it is June 6th. And also that mail-in voting is a way of life now in Attleboro. And so people may request a mail-in ballot, and that can be done anytime through the 30th of May. The sooner the better, however, because if you request it on the 30th of May, there's always a chance of a slowdown in the mail, getting it to you or whatever. So far we've had just over 600 people who have requested a mail-in ballot. We usually get about a 2/3 return from those who have requested. Very often people will request a ballot, but then decide to go to the polls instead. So those are the basics of the election. As usual, it'll be 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. There are no changes in polling places, the same polling places we've had for several years. And, those are the basics. It's probably good on the mail-in voting, though, to remind people that it's only in the state election and the presidential election where you have to be postmarked by 8 p.m. on election day. In this election, the ballots must be received by 8 p.m. on election day. So you can't run to the post office at noontime on June 6th and say, I mailed it. It has to be in the office. And if you don't want to mail it, we also have the drop box at City Hall. You have to remember to sign it. There's dual envelopes. So, make sure that you return the inside envelope as well as the outside envelope. And not just put the ballot in the outside envelope, because it's that inside envelope which has all of the labeling and everything, which has been read into the system to show that you were sent a ballot, and which we read in when it's returned that the ballot has been back. So I think it's like anything else. Just, go down every item and make sure where it says sign it, you've signed it. That's the main thing. There will not be early voting. We, based on the turnouts last year, mail-in voting was so much more popular than early voting. I mean, there were days on early voting last year, which was a state election year, in which we only had 30 or 40 people, in a whole day versus several thousand on the mail-in voting. So, we have decided to continue with the mail-in voting and not the early voting. You can register to vote until May 27th. In recent years, that hasn't been as much of an issue as it has in the past now, because as anybody who's been to the registry of motor vehicles or any state office is aware, they ask you, do you want to register to vote? We process over 1,000 voter registration forms every month. Some are duplicates, but most people have already chosen to register to vote. But if it's a new resident in the city or who hasn't been through the registry, whatever, then the date is May 27th. There's always an interest in what's the turnout going to be. I think it is interesting that for the mayoral election, which you would expect would have a greater interest, we only had a 16.5% turnout. We had about 5,500 voters. Again, looking at the number of signs that are out there, knowing the candidates have been knocking on doors. I've had at least 2 of the 3 candidates have knocked on my door. And I know other people have told me the same. You would think that there'd be interest. So we would hope, that with all the effort that's put in by the candidates, with the efforts that's put in by the election workers, that people if they don't do it early by mail, on the 6th won't say, it doesn't matter. We hope that they will come out and vote. We'll get a good turnout.